He was prospective, talented, and tenacious. His life was like a bright flash and ended earlier than anyone could have imagined. Brandon Lee, actor, martial artist, son of the legendary Bruce Lee, had every chance of becoming a new Hollywood star. The Crow was supposed to be his path to the future, but it turned out to be a curse. Many still do not believe in a tragic accident and have various theories of the actor's death. So what happened then? And why do so many people believe in murder? Get comfortable, you're watching Biographer Express, and today we will look at the possible reasons for the early death of a talented actor and martial artist, Brandon Lee. Brandon was born in 1965 in Oakland in the family of famous Chinese actor Bruce Lee. Since childhood, Brandon has been passionate about martial arts and began training in karate at the age of 3. At the age of 5, the boy could walk on his hands and reach his father's shoulder in one jump. Bruce taught his son kung fu according to his own system, Jeet Kune Do. The boy came up with the idea of becoming an actor while studying at the martial arts school, IMB Academy in Los Angeles. We don't know what exactly influenced the young man's aspiration, but from that moment he decided to pursue the acting profession. My dad never told me to become an actor, and my mother didn't either, but since childhood I've only dreamed about it. I never thought about anything else. But the decision to conquer Hollywood was not so easy. Brandon was perceived exclusively as the son of a star and was offered corresponding roles. Thus, one of the first offered projects was the role of his father in the film Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, which he refused. The other two, The Crime Killer and Kung Fu the Movie, seemed to be copied from Bruce's films and did not bring much success to the young actor. Attempts to realize himself in Hong Kong, like his father, also weren't very successful, and even after the warm reception of the film Legacy of Rage by Chinese viewers, Brandon returned to conquer America. His real fame came from his role in Showdown in Little Tokyo, where he played the main character, Johnny Murata. The next big success came to Brandon with the movie Rapid Fire, where he again got the main role. Besides, Brandon came up with all the fight scenes for the film, as his father did in his time. This movie proved his status as a young promising star. Comparing Brandon to his father, producer Robert Lawrence said, quote, "His father had a burning intensity. Brandon is more fun. He's freewheeling, hip, and more tongue-in-cheek." It's worth saying that the actor never liked being compared to his father in his work, and didn't want to reach the top thanks to the former popularity of his dad, who died tragically when the boy was only 8. Lee Jr. always strived to be an independent actor, and he succeeded quite well. In a perfect world, I'd rather that comparisons to my dad didn't happen, but I'm lucky. He's somebody that people admire a lot. He said, "I've met a lot of people who've been really positively affected by his film work. People who say, 'It changed my life after I saw one of your dad's films.'" No one would have thought that Lee Jr. would share his father's fate. 1993 was supposed to be a turning point in the young actor's life and bring him the very role that would help him to become one of the top stars. Furthermore, in the same year, he was planning a wedding with his girlfriend Eliza. Brandon had high hopes for The Crow, and he was right. The story really touched him to the core because, like the actor himself, the hero was preparing for marriage and was madly in love with his beloved. I thought to myself, if I, like him, were given the opportunity to return a year after his death, who would I want to see? Eliza, my fiancée, because I'm getting married after the movie. But it's different with Eric. The one person he'd want to share it with is gone. That's the main tragedy of the character. After its release, the film rightfully received the title of a cult classic due to its many visual effects, action scenes, and professional acting. But the main actor was not destined to experience its success. The Crow became fatal for Brandon Lee. Filming began on his birthday, February 1st, 1993. At that time, the actor turned 28 years old. To participate in a promising project, Brandon lost weight, grew his hair, and intensively practiced martial arts to hone his skills. The author of the original comic, James O'Barr, wrote it after his girlfriend was killed by a drunk driver and was reportedly worried about casting choice as he didn't want The Crow to be another kung fu movie. It was only after O'Barr's personal meeting with Lee that he changed his mind. The level of physicality and charisma he brought to the role was amazing to witness. Not a lot of people realize just how hard he worked. He did all of his own fight choreography and nearly all of his own stunts. The only thing he didn't do was falling off buildings because they wouldn't let him. That's without even talking about his performance. He brought the right mix of humor, pain, and menace to the role. Work on the film did not go well from the very beginning. There were accidents here and there on the set. The crane accidentally caught on a power line and one of the crew members suffered serious burns. A truck carrying equipment caught fire. One of the workers was dissatisfied with the filming conditions and deliberately drove his car into the set. A stuntman broke several ribs after falling from a roof while preparing for a dangerous scene. Then the storm damaged several expensive decorations. Also during the filming of one of the episodes in a pawn shop, there was an ominous incident when the Crow broke glass with his hand. The glass, of course, was fake, but despite this, Brandon Lee was seriously injured. After this incident, a different film crew shooting another movie nearby even began to bet on what kind of trouble their neighbors would befall. However, in the end, they also got into trouble when a fire destroyed several pieces of their scenery. For this reason, the Crow was originally said to be cursed. On March 31st, the unthinkable happened. In the final scene, Brandon's character was shot with a .44 caliber revolver. The script was for Lee to enter his apartment and then activate a squib, a bag of blood that was supposed to simulate a gunshot wound, and as soon as Michael Massey fired a gun, fall to the floor. Everything went according to plan. The gun fired, the squib went off, and Lee fell. Only after Proyas said cut, everyone realized that Lee was not moving. Actor Michael Massey, who played the main character's enemy, shot Lee with a blank cartridge, but it turned out there was a lead tip stuck in the gun, which the technicians did not notice. When he fell backwards from the explosion rather than forward as planned, some time passed before others on set realized something was wrong. Everyone was busy working. The actor was wounded in the stomach. The bullet lodged in the spine. Lee was taken to the New Hanover Regional Medical Center, where he underwent a 6-hour operation. Doctors transfused him with 7 liters of blood, fighting for his life for 12 hours. But at 1:04 on March 31st, 1993, the young actor was declared dead. After a 2-month investigation, the incident was determined to be an accident and no charges were filed. Brandon's mother, Linda Cadwell, filed a civil lawsuit against the studio, which was settled out of court. The footage of the actor's murder was destroyed, and the scene was reshot with a double. It's hard to imagine how Brandon's fiancée Eliza felt. A few weeks after the funeral, James O'Barr visited her. He understood Eliza's feelings very well, as he also lost his beloved. Later, the writer admitted that he had never seen a sadder picture before. The woman sat in the living room surrounded by wedding gifts and photographs with Brandon, and in the next room, a snow-white dress hung on a mannequin, which she was not destined to wear. After the actors' deaths, tabloids exploded with theories. One of them told that Brandon was allegedly killed by the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. The others told that it was jealous mistresses. There were also speculations that he was killed by a black demon that haunted his father as well. After the tragedy, filming was suspended. Director Alex Proyas initially did not want to continue working on the film at all. He was destroyed by the tragedy and so devastated that he did not have the strength to continue. It was only because Eliza and then the entire cast and crew reached out to him that he began to consider it. Those who became closer to the actor during the period of collaboration wanted to finish the film in his honor, since Brandon put a lot of time and effort into The Crow. Despite all the unpleasant events during filming, he worked hard without slowing down his pace and enthusiasm. Although, of course, not everyone agreed to continue working on the film. O'Barr, as well as a third of the original crew, did not return to the set. They asked me to come back. I told them no, that I couldn't imagine myself back there without him. 2 months after Lee's death, the film producer Edward Pressman received $8 million to rewrite the script and complete The Crow. Stuntmen Chad Stileski and Jeff Cadiente were used to film Brandon's character's final scenes. For close-ups, Lee's face was superimposed on their faces during post-production. The movie was finally completed and released in large cinemas in 1994, receiving critical acclaim. The Crow became a cult film, grossing $94 million against a budget of $23 million. Its success led to the creation of a media franchise, including 3 sequels and a television series. Most of the sequels failed to replicate the success of the first movie, as they starred different characters and none of the original cast. It is worth noting that the tragic event caused great resonance in the film industry. The incident also led to a major overhaul of safety protocols on sets, especially regarding firearms. This included stricter regulations on the use of firearms on set, mandatory safety training for cast and crew, and the use of dummy guns instead of real ones where possible. How could it happen that the tip ended up in the gun? Did someone deliberately set up an accident? Most likely the cause was simple negligence. Negligence and greed, but let's start with negligence. A few weeks before the fateful day, the prop master prepared material for filming during which live ammunition was purchased. Why this was done, who can tell now, but initially they were not going to be used in the work. Typically, weapons are loaded with blank cartridges which consist of a cartridge case, a primer, a type of gunpowder that creates the effect of a shot, and a cardboard tip. But while working on the scene, it turned out that there was no blank cartridges on the set. Therefore, it was decided to convert real bullets into blanks in order to save time. The gunpowder was removed from the bullet and put back into the cartridge, and for close-ups, special dummies were created from cardboard but with a lead tip. While practicing the scene where the victim looks down the barrel of a pistol being loaded, one of these dummies was in use, but no one noticed that the lead tip remained inside. This type of charge is very strong, so the bullet stuck in the barrel was thrown out with terrible force. The result was a shot no weaker than a real one. The situation could have been saved by the weapons master, who was supposed to be present during the weapon use scenes, but he was simply not invited. Since the major action scenes had already been filmed, the filmmakers decided that hiring a weapons master to film a simple scene was futile. Besides, they had serious financial problems. There was a catastrophic lack of money for filming. Due to Paramount's reservations about the project due to its release on DVD, the film's production budget was severely reduced. The Crow originally cost just $14 million. At the same time, the studio's board of directors wanted to see the film for $30 million. This meant filming in North Carolina, since the laws there regarding working conditions, wages, hours, and breaks were not as strict. This allowed producers to demand more and pay less. The staff literally had to work hard, but even this wasn't enough. The studio put pressure on Alex Proyas to preserve every detail. The creators had to look for additional ways to meet the budget. By the time they worked on the last scene, the crew was tired and wanted to finish the job as quickly as possible. That's why no one examined the revolver. This also explains another strange thing: the absence of a bulletproof vest on Brandon, despite the fact that according to the rules, the actor is required to wear protection during the filming of action scenes. The absence of the weapons master led to another mistake. Massey was not instructed that he was not supposed to shoot directly at Lee, but slightly to the side. The combination of fatal details led to the tragedy. But fans of the actor are still coming up with alternative versions of death. Some of them believe in the supernatural cause. In the meantime, until we continue the story about the theories of Brandon's death, we suggest you subscribe to the channel and click on the bell so you won't miss new videos. During one scene, some saw a connection to the Illuminati. It was filmed inside a pyramid with an all-seeing eye above it, and throughout the film there was the logo of the mysterious Brotherhood of the Phoenix. Some also worried about a mysterious figure in the film who appeared to be moving through a series of buildings. Another mysterious theory is the curse of the Lee family. It's associated with the early death of Brandon's father, Bruce, just in the process of working on his next film project. He also, like his son, died at a young age. Therefore, rumor has it that the Lee family became victims of a supernatural force that befell them. The theory was confirmed by the fact that Bruce died while working on the film Game of Death, where the main character faked his death. Many saw analogies between stories in which the main character has to face his demise. Some believed that the Lee family's curse only targeted men. This was associated with Bruce's second feminine name, which he was given as a child, Lee Junfan, in the hope that it would protect him from demons. Which theory do you believe in? Write in the comments. However, with the death of Bruce Lee, everything really turned out to be not so simple and obvious. To this day, fans put forward different reasons for what happened. Were there really mystical preconditions for the tragic end of the iconic actor? Was it an accident? Or maybe it was the work of the mafia? Click on the video that appeared on your screen to learn more about the death of the famous actor and martial artist Bruce Lee. We gathered the most interesting theories and tried to get to the truth. That's all for now. You were watching Biographer Express. See you very soon.